Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, taking a look at another very intriguing Big 12 matchup as West Virginia, TCU square off. Both of these teams 3-1, riding 3-game winning streaks. West Virginia been an absolute darling of this college football season. We said in the summer, I didn't see a 3-1 record in their first four coming. That being said, I did say this West Virginia team is a lot better than most people are giving them credit for. The narrative around this West Virginia team is going to struggle to win 4 games, going to be in the bottom half of this Big 12. Proving a lot of people wrong. Neal Brown coaching for his job right now and doing a damn good job of it. And then you take a look at TCU, obviously a disappointing start to the season. That being said, after that loss against Colorado, just quietly taking care of business, impressive wins against SMU and Houston. Excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. The support for these game breakdowns truly has been phenomenal. Over 9,000 subscribers, a college football community that is awesome. Appreciate you guys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, and again, best part about doing this, talking ball with you guys, learning from you guys in the comment section. So drop your game predictions there. We'll chop it up. Without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to start with this TCU offense that's really hitting its stride, going up against the West Virginia defense that I got to put my hand up. Like I missed here. Like I was really skeptical of this West Virginia defense, specifically in the front seven, how this team was going to be able to get off the field, specifically stop the run. This has been a West Virginia defense. You take a look at that 3-1 record. It's not because of the offense. I mean, this West Virginia defense is playing a very, very good brand of football. I want to go to the back end first. Beanie Bishop, the transfer from Minnesota, watching back that Texas Tech game this morning. I mean, they kept trying to go after him, and Beanie Bishop just kept showing up. Floyd, I think, is playing really good back there. You guys have heard me talk about guys like Lee Kogba. This is a defense that you didn't have a ton of, like, we knew Lee Kogba coming in. Outside of that, you had some question marks. This West Virginia defense is playing really, really well, only allowing 19 points per game. This will be their biggest test of the season. Again, they held Texas Tech to 4 yards per play Saturday. I know Texas Tech starting quarterback Tyler Shuck went down, but that's a very high-powered Texas Tech offense, and West Virginia handled them pretty well. Now, this TCU offense has really been hitting its stride. Chandler Morrison, how I want to talk about TCU for a second is the slow start against Colorado. Yes, disappointing. I think if you run that game back, that's a different result of more times out of 10. That being said, this TCU team, a slow start might be explained by, I mean, TCU lost a ton of NFL talent to the draft after that magical season last year, and they had to replace a lot of new names. Now, they had some guys coming back who we like, we'll talk about. That being said, it kind of might explain a little bit of a slow start. That being said, the last 2 games for TCU, especially on the offensive side of the ball, really, really impressive. Chandler Morris seeming to really get a grasp of this offense. You take a look at what he's done, work in the middle of the field extremely well. The ball's coming out extremely quickly, accurately, 69% for over 1,000 yards. Chandler Morris is settling in. And the funny thing about this offense is from the wide receiver situation. Like last year, it was like Q Johnson, Darius Davis. Like we were going to pepper those 3 guys. Tay Barber, throw him in there. This year, I mean, there's like a bunch of guys just stepping up in all different games. I mean, you've had John Paul Richardson get his, Warren Thompson. You've had Jalen Robinson, the transfer from Ole Miss. They got like 10 guys in this wide receiver room that can make plays. And then every particular game, it seems to be just a different guy that is being the go-to in that offense. They have some nice balance. Like they're throwing the ball extremely efficiently. I'd like to see them take a little bit more shots down the field. And then the run game. I mean, they're one of the best rushing attacks that you see in the entire country. Amani Bailey's been that dude. He was that dude last year. That being said, Kendre Miller was very, very good. So Amani Bailey didn't get the credit or reps he probably deserved. He's averaging 6 yards per carry. This TCU offense, extremely balanced, can get it going through the air, can get it through and get it going on the ground. And Sonny Dykes, so you watch this TCU offense when it's clicking, it's a masterpiece. And I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to seeing this TCU offense go up against the West Virginia defense that, again, does not get enough credit from the national media that they deserve. Now, on the flip side, this is where, if you're a West Virginia fan, you're probably paying attention to. West Virginia, yeah, they have had quarterbacks going down. I don't think they have the wide receivers, the top-end wide receivers that you want. Devin Carter struggling with some drops. West Virginia really struggles to push the ball down the field, right? And they want to run the football. They have a really good offensive line. They had a bruising running back in C.J. Donaldson. They're going up against the TCU defense. And this stat kind of surprised me. I've been keeping up and watching TCU games, but when I took a look and did a little research in this game, and TCU is number 2 in the country and only allowing 2.5 yards per carry. That is what West Virginia wants to do. They want to get that run game going, then work some play action, some RPOs in there. That's going to be the biggest battle for West Virginia. Again, I love Nestor Glazer up front. West Virginia is good. They're going to want to run the football with CJ Donaldson. Can they do that against TCU? That's going to be a big question. You have some really good linebackers, Johnny Hodges, Jamoy Hodge, Dominic Williams, the massive one tech, zero tech, absolute dog. As a Michigan fan, I remember him wreaking havoc in that playoff game. And then the back end, I mean, Bud Clark, Josh Newton, Avery Helm, the transfer. He's playing really good ball. This TCU defense, I know got beat bad by Colorado week 1. I think this TCU defense is really starting to find its form, both in that front seven, but also in the back end. My biggest concern for West Virginia is if you can't run the football and you're looking at a lot of 3rd and longs, whether it's Garrett Green, whether it's Nico, that's not a position that you want to be in. You don't want it's already kind of a one-dimensional offense. I think a lot of West Virginia fans would probably agree with that. Like, they want to run the football. That's where they're most productive. If they can't run the football, they get into obvious 3rd and longs where they have to be throwing the football. It could be a long day for West Virginia, which gets into the pick. And West Virginia fans, we talked a lot. I picked Texas Tech to cover the number at West Virginia last week, and West Virginia ends up beating them outright. And so I'm not like itching to bet against West Virginia back-to-back weeks. That being said, when you look at the matchup, and I love this West Virginia team. For one, the fans, you guys have been awesome, but two, like, it's a gritty team. And you look at the box scores and you watch the games, and they're just grinding out wins, and I love that. It kind of what TCU was doing to a certain extent last year, where they weren't always winning the game in the box score, but they were winning the game on the scoreboard. That's kind of what this West Virginia team has been doing, which doesn't make me itch to bet against them. But when you look at a matchup standpoint, how good TCU is against stopping the run on the defensive side of the ball, and how reliant I think West Virginia is on running the football, that's probably my biggest concern. I'm definitely staying away from the number. 12 points with how good this West Virginia defense is. I'm not necessarily itching to bet it. That being said, I do have a hard time seeing West Virginia head on the road and be the TCU team that you look through the last couple of weeks. I think they're really starting to find their form, and I'm really interested to see them get into Big 12 play, because this TCU team, having gone back, watching that SMU Houston game back, like, this is a drastically different team than you saw week 1 against Colorado. If they can continue to get their new faces kind of involved, I do think this TCU team is really, really good. I think they take care of business here, but this West Virginia team, like, TCU cannot be sleepwalking at home in this one, because West Virginia will grind out a win if they have to. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.